Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Welcome to episode 51 of Talk Smart with
Pugh
and McCart. That is young Joe Pugh over there with the Stony on, the Hugo Boss, man. You look like you're about to start a riot.
To be fair, Andrew, I never really wear a hat. It's probably the first time I've done a hat, but I need to cut my hair. Tired, drove back from Birmingham after what was quite a long night last night, but never complain. Let's go. Let's do it. Great night of boxing, Magnificent Seven, third one, blown away by the fights again, especially two in particular. Yeah, let's just get straight into it, mate. Did you watch it? Did you enjoy it?
I watched it, mate. I watched it with my wife, a glass of wine, and even she enjoyed it. She enjoyed the Heaney Brad Paul's fight because it was such a. We spoke about it last week. We said that it's just going to be a continuation of the first fight. It won't be round 1 of the rematch. It'll be round 13, and I think that's what we got. And it was a great fight. I just love these old British dust ups. And Nathan Heaney showed that he's got, for lack of a better word, balls of steel. And Brad Paul's, he knew what he needed to do and he done it. Do you know what I mean? Especially with I didn't see what the scorecards were, but Richie Woodall's scorecard, I think, had it even, or maybe Nathan Heaney up by 1. I can't quite remember. So Brad Paul's was needing that knockout, according to Richie Woodall, going into that last round. And his corner advice, you wouldn't have saw this. I don't know if you've seen it on TV. His cornerman, his coach, sorry, this is Brad Paul's coach, said, listen, it's your last round, 3 minutes, give it everything you've got. Yeah. Which I thought was great corner advice because he went out there the first second and just put it on Nathan Heaney. And yeah, just an absolute great fight. And, you know, Chantel Cameron comes back with a win. Solomon Dakers, again, getting that rematch and doing what he probably maybe should have done in the first fight. So yeah, it was a great card. Echo Usman, great Echo Usman as well, great fight. So yeah, you were there though. You get the privilege and the honor of being there with the atmosphere, sitting ringside. Sometimes if you're not backstage doing interviews, man, you just break it down for me.
Yeah, well, I want to start with the Echo Usman and Cooper fight. That, for me, potentially a candidate for fight of the year. Absolutely brutal. Both fighters hit the deck. Echo hits the deck the round before he goes on to stop Owen Cooper. And we spoke last week about it being a real kind of a bit of experience. We'll see how much experience does show. And I think Echo did show it last night. He was winning the fight. He got caught by a beautiful left hook, which we know Owen Cooper can throw really well. And Echo said to me after the fight, he said, luckily, I kind of moved to the side as it was coming because if he'd have caught me flush with that, there's no way I would have gotten up. So he got back up. And then, to be honest, if I'm being honest, quite a scary stoppage. We don't like to see him too often, but we do in this sport. I was right in front of it. And yeah, he didn't move for a while, Owen Cooper. And it was getting a little bit scary. But after probably 30, 40 seconds, but you never know in those situations because time sometimes moves slow or fast, depending what sort of scenario it is. But yeah, luckily he was okay. Spoke to Echo this morning, absolutely buzzing. He says kind of the redemption arc's over, but the story definitely isn't. He was calling out boots after. He just wants the big fights now, and I'm really pleased for Echo. Owen will definitely come back again. He's still very, very young. I think he's only 23 years old. So excellent fight. Probably for me, fight of the night, if not the main event. Main event was fantastic. And you said it again last week, start off as the 13th round, not the first round after their amazing first fight. And that's exactly what they done. As you say, for me, I probably weren't scoring it round by round because, as you know, I'm in and out. But it looked like, from my perspective, that Brad was maybe just edging it. But especially with the knockdown earlier on as well. But he didn't take that risk. He didn't let it go to the scorecards, and he took the title off the champion. And I think we are going to see a trilogy of that because I don't know if you've seen the clip, Andrew, of Brad going into Nathan's room, and Nathan said, "Can you return the favour?" Obviously, he gave him the rematch, and Brad was more than happy to do so. I think he was just grateful for the opportunity, and I think he'll be more than happy to give that opportunity back to him. So yeah, really proper, good domestic guys between two honest guys, left all in the ring, showed a lot of nuts, and yeah, really, really good fight.
Definitely. And all other fighters on the card, Andrew Kane, British as well. Was it British and Commonwealth he won
British and
last
Commonwealth.
night? Yeah. Ezra Taylor as well. He's going to be a force. It was a good, hard win against a very, very tough South American guy. You've got Zach Parker. We had Shabazz Masood as well on the card.
Yeah.
I seen his little, wouldn't call it an altercation, his little back and forth with Liam Davis. Ringside, so it looks like that fight will be on in the near future, which is good to see. Great card, and like I said last week, I love these Magnificent Seven cards. I just love them because they might not have the big superstar name as the headliner. Like I said, you don't have the Anthony Joshua on the headliner. You don't have the Chris Eubank Jr., the Liam Smith, or whatever it may be, the superstars of British boxing headlining, but you've got great fights up and down the card. Great fights. It might not be 50-50 fights, but they're close to like 60-40. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're very, very good fights.
I've been to all three of them, and every single one, I'm pretty sure everyone has had an upset, and I'm pretty sure everyone has had a proper fight. So when you put 7 decent fights together, the chances are at least one, if not more, is going to turn out to be a cracker, and that they've got the formula there. And I know we said they took a little bit of a hitting because of obviously it was meant to be Dacres Adelaide, it was meant to be Shabazz Masood versus Liam Davis. If it had been that, then wow, that would have been card of the year probably. But yeah, really good night. Hope Shabazz Liam Davis is rescheduled. I'm led to believe it is for later on this year. And I don't know about Sol Dacres and David Adelaide because I think Sol Dacres is a little bit frustrated with waiting around. He questioned the legitimacy of David Adelaide's injury, and then they rubbed shoulders last night in the media area. Adam Morley of S-Jam, Sol's manager, said, "We are happy to do the fight again, but he wants some kind of financial penalty to be put in place. So for if David was to pull out again." And there's kind of a narrative going on, but with how many times he's pulled out, I'm pretty sure it is only one. But I know they was talking about it for early on in the year, the first Magnificent Seven card, but I think he had to have meetings with the board in regards to what happened with Fabio Wardley last year. So yeah, bit of a messy situation, but I hope that gets worked out and we do see Dacres Adelaide, because that's a really, really good fight. And Dacres, both guys want to get to that British level. Adelaide's already had his chance against Fabio Wardley last year. Sol Dacres wants to get to the point where he did have that chance. Fraser Clark was in the crowd, by the way, and he was cheering on Sol Dacres. They're good pals. They've shared thousands of rounds, I'm led to believe. So that'd be a great fight in the future. But I would love to see Dacres Adelaide rescheduled at some point.
I'm sure we will. And obviously Shabazz Masood and Liam Davis, and obviously if we get that trilogy with Heaney and Brad Pauls, if they put that on the fourth Magnificent Seven card, then we're in for another treat.
Yes, definitely.
I love when boxing. I love a good Saturday night, just sitting and chilling with my wife, kids in bed, boxing on. I love that, and we got an app. Like I said, even my wife enjoyed it, which was good. Normally she'll go to her bed before the main event, but she stayed up, which tells you it was a good card. Also last night we had again, it's not my style, you know me with this sort of type of boxing, but we had Jake Paul against Mike Perry. Jake Paul's got a market. He's found this little pocket in the boxing realm where he is marketing himself and getting these fights and selling out arenas and promoting himself. To be fair to Jake Paul, I would say he's probably dedicated his life to the sport of boxing, because he's not to do this for call him a Disney kid. Say what you want. The kid hasn't been fighting all his life like most of the guys that come up from the amateur ranks and whatnot. He's just started off 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, and he's dedicated his life to it. So fair play to him. And he's fighting fighters. They might not be boxers, they're fighters. They know how to handle themselves in a fight. Albeit Jake is probably 20, 30, 40 pounds heavier than majority of the guys he fights, which is a big discrepancy there. And I will allude to Conor McGregor's tweet, and I'll go on my phone and I'll get it up, what he tweeted last night. Yeah, he's found this little market and he seems to be doing well in it. So I think Turkey Al Sheikh put a tweet out as well saying that this isn't boxing. So he's either doing something right or something wrong. What is it?
Well, look, for me, the way I see this, and I cover this sort of stuff more than you do, Andrew. I separate it as two separate things. Obviously, you've got your pro boxing, you've got your traditional boxing, then you've got your misfits and the crossover boxing. But for me, Jake Paul's kind of a little bit of an anomaly because I actually wouldn't put him in the crossover boxing and I wouldn't put him in the pro boxing. He's probably the only fighter that I'd say is in the middle at the minute. And if I'm being honest, he's probably closer to the pro side now. But obviously the lower level of the pro side. I'm not trying to say he's anywhere near even being a contender, but obviously pros vary in level. I think Jake Paul will fight a traditional boxer, well, he has done in Tommy Fury, but I think he will have one of those fights. I think the Mike Tyson thing is going to be rescheduled for later on in the year, but that's still quite unclear whether that's going to be an exhibition. So I'm going to leave that Mike Tyson thing alone for now because I don't think that really is really necessary for this conversation. But I think Jake Paul will eventually fight for not for a title. Well, he may do. He may get a title shot. I have no idea. But I want him to fight a traditional pro boxer because I think
he did. Sorry, Joe, for cutting you. He did fight those two.
yeah. Okay.
No, but they were the two before Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Again,
They
there's
were
a big asterisk attached.
Yeah, they were traditional boxers, but they were, again, for the lack of a better word, not very good.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean? So
I just think you've got to remember, Jake Paul's probably been fighting for 5 years now and properly dedicated his life to it, and that's a very, very hectic life, a very hard life probably to manage. I'm assuming being in his position as one of the most famous people in the world. So I do give full respect to Jake Paul, and realistically, Jake Paul isn't picking his opponents. It's his team. It's MVP. It's Nikita. They're picking those opponents. So I do give respect to Jake Paul. Jake Paul can only really do with who he's put in against. Like at some point, he will have to put his foot down and say, "I want this fight." Like you say, Mike Tyson. I don't know what's going on with that, but I do respect Jake Paul because a lot of these guys do come into it and see it as a cash grab. I don't think he has. He's set up his own promotional company and done a lot for the likes of Amanda Serrano, boosted her profile tenfold, Andrew. So I do respect Jake Paul.
yeah, I'm not, I don't. Listen, I'm not saying I don't respect the guy. Like I said, he's found his market and his pocket within the boxing realm, and he's the promoter, he's the manager, he's the fighter, he's the top dog in it, and he's doing well. And like I said, he's fighting. He is fighting fighters, albeit in the boxing world, where he is being dedicated his life for the best part of 6-7 years at it. When you've got Mike Perry, he's got the bare knuckle side of things, but he has the UFC guy, MMA fighters. They've got different weapons to defend themselves, whether it be leg kicks and takedowns and stuff like that. When you're just standing up and you've got nothing else but your fists, you've got to be in that range to throw the fist. Like if you can front kick somebody, there's a big gap between you. And there's loads of elements to that MMA fighters aren't used to when they come to the boxing world. And Jake is doing well, and I'll give him that. He's making millions upon millions. So fair play to the young man. He's doing well. But I will, like I said, I was going to pull up Conor McGregor's tweet and I'll get your response to it. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Conor basically said Jake Paul is the biggest piss bag I've ever seen in my life. 40-pound weight difference, juiced out of his head, and still shitting himself in there. Nakisa, you should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right. You could never. The Athletic Commission testing, real fighting, bitch asses. You would never. And then calling out a 60-year-old Mike Tyson fresh off a flight medical emergency. I swear, a fat can of bitch piss. Most valuable piss bag. There's a lot in there, but I don't think Conor McGregor's too happy with Jake Paul and what he's doing in the combat sports realm. And then Jake Paul obviously said, "Listen, put the drink down, get off your yacht, and come and have a fight with me. So is that a possible fight? I know Conor doesn't need the millions upon millions that maybe some of these fighters that are stepping in with Jake Paul need or want. But Conor McGregor, Jake Paul, makes sense.
Well, it makes sense from a marketing and financial point of view. Look, these two have been going at it for years, absolute years. It died down a bit, and now it looks like it's picking itself back up. You have to remember, for me, I think Conor's got to decide what he wants to do, because he can either carry on bulking up, because he was bulking up, or if he does return to the octagon, I know he got postponed. I don't really keep it up to UFC. Then he's obviously got to come down in weight. So I don't know. It could happen. I'll definitely watch. I think it'd be very, very entertaining, because although Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul's massive, and it is massive, I do think there is an element of respect between the two. Jake Paul will try and do his shit, but I think Mike Tyson's at the point now where he has just laughed at it. But if you get Conor McGregor and Jake Paul in a room in front of hundreds, probably thousands of press will want to be there. Like, you are going to see absolute fireworks. You like, it will break the internet. It will genuinely break the internet. You think Mike Tyson, Jake Paul was massive. You think KSI versus Tommy Fury was massive. This is different. This is a different scope. This is a different kind of stratosphere. This will go absolutely wild. And if we're being honest, would Jake Paul care what happened in the ring when there's that much money being played about? Some would say he would, because he has taken this sport so seriously. But this is a different level. And if this did happen, I do think it breaks all records.
Oh, 100%, definitely. Look what the Mayweather thing with Conor McGregor did. I think that's still one of the biggest. I think it's second below Pacquiao Mayweather in Gate in Vegas. So, yeah, I will break the internet, man. Conor McGregor knows how to sell himself. Jake Paul knows how to sell himself. They both know how to sell a fight, press conferences, trash talking, all that stuff in between before you even step foot in the ring. All that fun stuff that we enjoy. They'll be pushing. There'll be water bottles thrown. Teams will be getting brawls. It would just be one of them things where it just grips the imagination of everyone involved. But yeah, like I said, Jake Paul's doing his thing. I even saw a little clip of him FaceTiming Alex Pereira. I don't know if you know who Alex, but I know you don't follow the UFC. You know who Alex Pereira is, right? He's a guy that's an absolute unit, and he does use his fists way more in the MMA world, and he's an absolute killer, for the lack of a better word again. But again, Jake Paul's in that market, in that sort of pocket, like I keep saying. And fair play to the kid, man. But if he wants to, he said as well in the press conference, he wants to become a world champion in boxing. Well, the only one way you do that is you fight people in the top 10 in boxing, not MMA guys, not guys in the top 200. You've got to fight someday in that top 10, in that cruiserweight division, which you've been hovering about in. And that cruiserweight division with like guys like the Jayapatayas, all our cruiserweights in the UK, when you've got Chef Clark, you've got all these guys down in the UK and all that are big boys who can have a fight with their fists. But listen, Jake Paul, just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're making loads of money. So fair play to you. But can we step back into real boxing, real heavyweight boxing? Because we've got to do a little quick preview of Joyce versus Derek Chisora. Yeah, you've got Derek Chisora who can talk a good game, and you've got, I don't know if you've seen a clip of the face.
I've watched it all.
You watched it all?
Yeah, wild.
Listen,
absolutely wild.
It's hilarious, man. It's just two different personalities, isn't it? It's mental.
I absolutely love this fight. People will say what they want to say about it, think what they want to think, but I love it. I absolutely love this fight. For me, I've always been open. Chisora's like my guilty pleasure. Chisora's like my box of chocolates. Chisora's my 2 beers on a Monday night. He's my EastEnders. He's my Love Island. He is the boxer that I just absolutely love. And I feel bad saying this because I love Joyce. I've like grown to know Joe. I get on really well with him. I get on well with all his team. It's just going to be a really great fight. But yeah, it's good. It's going to be a war. You know what it's going to be. Like you can write the script now. It's just going to be two guys with probably not the best defense, but with granite jaws. But there's questions over Joe's after the Zhang fights. But before the Zhang fight, people was on about Joe having the best chin in world boxing. So it's just going to be 10 rounds of absolute rock'em sock'em robots. I can't wait for this.
No, I totally agree with you. I love Derek Chisora like the next man, but I wouldn't call him my Love Island. But I do love Derek Chisora. I must admit, he's been fun for the sport over the however many years he's been in it, man. From probably 2010 onwards.
2007, he made his pro debut.
There you go.
16 years as a pro.
16 years as a pro, and he's still doing what Derek Chisora does. Funny guy, hilarious guy, and he does exactly what he says in the tin. War Chisora. I think he's going to come at Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce has got those sort of like slow, methodical, but they're third and heavy shots. Derek Chisora's got that duck under, big overhand right. Will he land on Joyce's chin? Will Joyce use his jab and keep? It's going to be. Listen, whatever you think about the one's 38, one's 40 years old. They're both old men in boxing terms. Don't come at me, boys. I'm 42. I'm older than both of you, but they're both old in boxing terms. And it's probably a must-win fight for both. Well, it is a must-win fight for both, because if Chisora loses at 40-year-old, this could maybe be his last fight.
No, it won't be.
That's what I know. I know.
It won't be.
That Derek will
You've
keep
been saying this for 5 years. Come on.
We'll probably see Derek Chisora versus Jake Paul at some point down the line. Who knows? That probably will happen.
Well, maybe.
Maybe Derek Chisora will get involved with anything in the fight game, and who knows? We might even see that. But yeah, definitely a must win for Joe Joyce anyway. He needs to, if he wants to get back to where he was before the Zhang first fight, and talked about with the Anthony Joshua's and all this sort of stuff, he needs to dispatch of Derek Chisora. He can't make this a tight fight. It can't be close for Joe Joyce. He needs to go in there and put a demolition job and get where he wants to be, or where he was before that Zhang lost the first one.
Yeah, look, Derek Chisora's made the O2 his home. He's fought there 9 times, won 8. So he's got a really good record there. His only loss at the O2 was the rematch against Dillian White, where most people thought he was winning until he got sparked out in an excellent fight. He wants 3 more fights. He wants London. This is his last one. London, O2, absolutely can't wait. Then Manchester, then finish off his career. Fight number 15, Zimbabwe. So it's just a wild career. And some excellent nights from Derek Chisora. Some fantastic fights at the O2. When you look at the Takam War, when you look at Dillian White 2, as I previously said, Spilker, the list goes on. I really can't wait for this one. And it's a great card. You've got some really good fights. McCann Baluta 2, Ryan Garner versus Archie Sharp. The most fascinating fight for me on this card is Moses versus Mariswak.
Yeah.
Because Mariswak, I think he's been stopped twice, but so rarely gets stopped, and can really make people look quite shit. Make really good fighters look quite shit. So if Moses puts a statement against Mariswak, then it just reaffirms what most boxing fans already think about him.
And you know how what I think about Moses too. I really like Moses. Really, I'm a big fan of him. Sam Noakes is another guy that's on the card against Indabasi. I like that fight.
Sean Noakes.
Yeah, Sean Noakes, buddy. Sam Noakes was sparring Lewis Crocker a couple of weeks ago. That's why it's in my head. Yeah, I've just got Derek Chisora's box record up here, and I just want to run past. You mentioned about Derek Chisora's career there, and you look at his box record, right? And you look who he's fought: Kubrat Pulev. Do you know what I mean? Dillian White twice, Ajit Kabayao, Carlos Takam, David Price, Alexander Usyk, Joseph Parker twice, Kubrat Pulev twice, Tyson Fury. However many times he's fought Tyson Fury? 3 times. Do you know what I mean? And now he's Gerald Washington. Now he's fighting Joe Joyce. That is everybody bar Joshua and Wilder he's faced in boxing in that heavyweight division. He's fought everybody and anybody that he's put in front of him, which is fair play to the man.
100%. And what people forget, he was about on the old generation. He was the passing of the guard. He fought Danny Williams. He fought Sam Sexton. He's been a constant throughout British boxing. What has there been? 4 Olympic cycles. There's been so many world champions. But Derek Chisora remains. So it'll be a sad day when he does retire. I know people have been calling for him to retire for a very long time, but he's earned the right to just say call time when he wants to call time, in my opinion. And he does take a lot of shots, yeah, but when have you seen him really hurt? When have you seen him hit the deck? It's so rare. It's so rare. Obviously, you talk about the Dillian White one. You talk about the David Hay one. He was getting a bit of a beating against Tyson Fury in the third fight, but he was still coming forward. He was still hard. But I just think the ref had seen enough. It wasn't like he was on the ropes, really hurt, and his legs were gone.
He's
He's
probably gave Usyk the toughest fight in at the heavyweight division right now. Maybe I would say he's
I think Fury gave him a closer fight overall. Fury did give him a closer fight, but Usyk said Derek Chisora has been the hardest puncher he's been in with. So that tells you all. But we are only talking about Derek Chisora. I want to talk about Joe Joyce because it was only, just over a year ago. The first fight was in March 2023 against Zhang. Second one was September. So it was only then that before that, he was known as a top 5 heavyweight. He just beat Joseph Parker. And now look what Joseph Parker's gone to done. So just don't kind of write Joe Joyce off as a top heavyweight. Look at Zhilei Zhang and look what he's done. Look what Joseph Parker's done. Styles make fights.
But I was just about to say that styles make fights. I mean, Joe Joyce got beat by Zhang Parker, who Joe Joyce, let's be honest, battered him for a good majority of that round and then knocked him out. And I think it was the 11th round or the 10th, the 11th round or 10th round, I think it was it not?
I think it was the 11th, yeah.
It was the late rounds anyway. But then Parker beat Zhang. So like you said, Styles does make fights. And maybe Zhang is all wrong. But I've got to give, we talk about Derek Chisora fighting anybody and everybody. The fact that Joe Joyce got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang and said, I want him again. Knowing what happened in the first fight, he went in the second fight and tried to...
Completely agree.
He tried to do it. So that shows you the balls and the guts and everything that Joe Joyce has. He's not scared of no man. Like a lot of people might be scared of Derek Chisora because he is a scary dude, but definitely not Joe Joyce. He'll not be scared of that man one bit going into this fight. And like I said, he needs to win this fight to get to where he wants to be, where he needs to be, and where he should be. Because, like I said, we were talking about Anthony Joshua, we were talking about Usyk, we were talking about Wilder for Joe Joyce just a year and a half ago. Do you know what I mean? And this is the stepping stone that he needs. Because, like I say, he's 38 years old to get back to where he is. Because the heavyweight division right now it's just that conveyor belt. If you keep winning, you get there. It's as simple as that. And you get them fights because look at what Saudi's doing. You're going to get those big fights. If you keep winning, keep knocking people out, you'll get that big fight in Saudi and it could be against one of the big guys. So there's that little carrot dangled in front of you. If you want it, just go and get it.
Yeah, look. But just a great fight. Really, really good fight. Just 2 guys going to be slugging it out. And I think we're going to see a slightly different side to Derek Chisora around this fight week because one thing that kind of you notice with Derek, he can obviously be a bit erratic at times, but when he fought Kubrat Pulev and beat Kubrat Pulev at the O2, he got quite emotional after because the win, you could tell how much that win meant to him, headlining at the O2. And I think it's going to be an emotional night for him because it is his last night at the O2. It's what he has kind of made his arena, like the amount of Hotel Californias when he walks out to it, the old Derek Chisoras. It's going to be rocking in there. And I do think Derek Chisora might feel a bit emotional on Saturday night.
Yeah, I agree. And like I say, I'll be probably sitting up watching it with my wife again because my next show is not until maybe Barnsley or Belfast. I'm not too sure which one. But I cannot wait. I'll be sitting watching that fight. It's an exciting fight. I love a heavyweight dust up. But Joe, I think we've covered everything until next week. Yep. When we're going to do probably a review of this fight, this big heavyweight clash, and I'm looking forward to it because I guarantee there'll be fireworks in this fight. It'll be something juicy for us to talk about. But as always, can you just show people where you are right now? Can you do that? Can we see what's around you, what you're covered in, what you're surrounded by?
Well, this side we've got quite a lot of alcohol beverages. Then this side we got stage, drum kit.
Brilliant, man.
Yeah, it's not a bad life, is it, mate?
Definitely not, man. You've got a great life, young man, especially a young man like you, man. You're killing it. Listen, enjoy your weekend and enjoy what's left of this weekend, Joe. And like I said, enjoy the fight, and I'll catch up with you next week.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.